Beringer Private Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon, bold, polished, and Napa royalty. But is this flagship Cabernet just a California hype, or does it truly earn its place in your glass? By the end of this episode, you'll know how it scores across all 5 Sip Me Maybe categories: grape, taste, history, price, and how it fights in its weight class. So uncork that bottle and let's pour into it. Welcome to Sip Me Maybe, the podcast about all things wine. Here we swirl, sip, and spill the truth about what's in your glass. I'm Julia, and here we don't just drink wine, we take it from the grape to the glass and rate everything in between. And before we begin, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not a professional sommelier, just a wine lover with opinions. And wine list sometimes scares me too. This is a judgment-free zone, no snobbery, no side-eye. I'm going to share what I'm tasting, and you should share in the comments what lights up your palate. Let's sip, learn, and enjoy this pour together. Today's bottle, beautiful Beringer Private Reserve. In my case, it's 2016 vintage. This isn't just Napa's Cabernet, it's Beringer's crown jewel. Private Reserve is the bottle that doesn't need to prove itself with a swagger. It shows up wearing confidence like an heirloom watch, quietly gleaming with decades of legacy. It's the kind of Cabernet that fills the room before the cork even hits the table. Deep, layered, and powerful. Yet polished enough to glide instead of stomp. You don't drink Private Reserve to impress others. You drink it because you know excellence and you know what it tastes like. Founded in 1876 by German brothers Jacob and Frederick Beringer, this winery holds the title of California's oldest continuously operating estate. While many wineries shuttered during Prohibition, Beringer survived thanks to a clever legal loophole, producing sacramental wines for churches, which kept their vineyards alive while others were ripped out or simply abandoned. Fast forward to 1970s, where Napa was clawing its way onto the global wine stage. In 1976, the famed judgment of Paris blind tasting shocked the world, putting Napa's Chardonnay and Cabernet toe-to-toe with France's largest and greatest, and California won. Riding that wave, the newfound prestige, Beringer launched their Private Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon in 1977, determined to showcase the absolute best barrels from their top vineyards. It was Sbragia, Beringer's longtime winemaker, who pioneered the Private Reserve by blending multiple single vineyard lots across Napa to build complexity, structure, and age-worthiness. This approach, assembling the best expressions into one flagship wine, inspired countless Napa estates to craft their own prestige bottlings, copycats. Today, Beringer remains a pillar of Napa Valley's legacy, with the Private Reserve continuing to collect 90-plus scores nearly every vintage, celebrated for its balance, depth, and longevity. But Beringer isn't just about what's in the bottle. Their San Elena estate is a must-visit for any wine lovers. With impeccably kept ground, ivy-draped stone buildings, and historic Rhinehouse mansion that feels straight out of European fairy tale. Right next door sits the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone, one of America's premier culinary schools. The proximity influences the tasting experience. They often collaborate on pairings that elevate their Cabernets with seasonal chef-driven bites. Imagine sipping Private Reserve alongside rosemary-seared lamb or a dark chocolate tartlet crafted steps away from CIA chefs. An immersion in Napa's food and wine artistry at its finest. Speaking from my personal experience, I visited Beringer in 2024, I believe it was November, and I was transported to a fairy tale from the first step. The whole experience felt like a dream. I took the shortest tour they were offering, and it included food pairing. With my food allergies, I was worried, but the kitchen was incredibly accommodating. And not just accommodating, but intentional. They assured my gluten-free bites carried the same depth of flavor and refinement as the rest of the guests. The food, the wine, and the tour kindly given to us by Matt were 10 out of 10. We felt welcomed and appreciated at every step. I highly recommend visiting Beringer if you want tasting experience that combines history, elegance, and genuine hospitality. Beringer's Private Reserve Cabernet is a masterclass in Napa's Valley Terroir. Grapes are sourced from their best plots, including Steinhauer Vineyard, that's on Howell Mountain. It offers power, dark fruit, and rugged tannins. Bancroft Ranch, Howell Mountain also, offers rich blackberry espresso notes. St. Helena Home Ranch, lush, classic plum velvety texture. And last but not least, private vineyard blocks in Rutherford and Oakville that offer graphite, mint, and earthy tones. After harvest, fermentation is carefully managed to extract color and tannin without bitterness. Then comes extended maceration, adding depth and grit. Aging occurs in 100% new French oak for around 20 months, importing layers of vanilla, mocha, and sweet spice while smoothing tannins for longevity. Fun fact, each vineyard lot is fermented and aged separately, with final blending happening only after the best barrels declare themselves, like assembling an orchestra from soloist into a beautiful symphony. 2016 vintage. Beringer Private Reserve is predominantly Cabernet Sauvignon with small percentage of Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot, blended to enhance aromatic lift, complexity, and, well, structure. And if you think I'm biased about this wine, you're right. This is my absolute favorite. What a beautiful color. Thank you. Cheers. This blend showcases Napa Cabernet at its finest, bold, structured, and built to age gracefully for decades. My friend here, 2016 vintage, benefited from an ideal growing season, steady temperatures, minimal heat strokes, and long, even ripening windows. Here's another fun fact for you. Phenolic maturity refers to a ripeness of compounds like tannins and anthocyanins, giving wine its structure, color, and aging potential. Tasting profile. On the nose, opens with ripe blackberries, cassis, and dark cherries, layered over sweet tobacco, mocha, and a hint of eucalyptus. Swirl again, cedar, graphite, vanilla bean, and maybe clove, creating a nose that feels both familiar and luxurious. On the palate, it's full-bodied and deeply structured, with blackberry compote, espresso, dark chocolate, and toasted oak. It finishes long and commanding with lingering backing spice and graphite minerality. You can pair it with lamb chop, portobello mushroom steak, aged Gouda, or sharp cheddar. So let's talk money. Private Reserve isn't your casual Tuesday pour. The 2016, in my case, retails around $150 to $180 per bottle. Compared to other flagship Napa Cabernets that often exceed $250 or even $300, Private Reserve offers exceptional value for its pedigree and cellar-worthiness. Visiting the estate or joining the club offers hefty discounts and exclusive deals. Plus, the tasting experience itself is worth the trip. Against Cayma's special selection, Joseph Phelps Insignia or Silver Oak Napa, Beringer Private Reserve holds its ground with quiet confidence. Less overly sweet than Caymus, more oak integrated than Silver Oak, and rivals Insignia in structure and polish. Overall, Beringer Private Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon 2016 is a confident, polished, and cellar-worthy Napa Cabernet that delivers on its promise of power, finesse, and historical gravitas. It earns its place among the region's top tier without needing hype to prove it. After rounding out the numbers and, well, full glass of honesty, I'm giving her a confident 93 on the sip score. Well, we've swirled, we've sipped, and now it's time to seal the deal. I'm Julia, and this was Sip Me Maybe, the podcast where every glass has a story and no sip goes unnoticed. Sip wisely, and I'll see you the next pour.